So good afternoon. My name is Calvin Hill, and I happen to serve as the Vice President for Inclusion and Community Engagement here at Springfield College, and we are thrilled that you are here. Today we're going to be talking about our third annual Leadership Luncheon, which is a partnership between the Boulay and the Basketball Hall of Fame. I've got the easy job. I've got the job of really welcoming everyone here and sharing how excited we are. So since 1891, Springfield College has been the premier space where we talk about basketball. Since James Naismith was first here on campus as a student and as a faculty member, basketball has resonated around the world. I just came back from Thailand, and I was with 1,150 or so YMCA professionals. And while they may not have necessarily known about the academic background that Springfield College had to offer, each and every person that came up to me spoke about basketball. So that is part of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about education and leadership and focusing on sport. So what better place than Springfield College to have that conversation? I think as an educational institution, I think when you think about the region, Springfield College is known for our wonderful academic programs. From an athletic perspective, Springfield College is known for our amazing sports programs. And from an educational perspective, we create and we educate students in spirit, mind, and body for leadership and service to others. So through that mission, we are thrilled to partner with, again, these two amazing organizations. So on behalf of Mary Beth Cooper, the entire leadership team here on campus, I want to turn the mic over to my friend, Paul Lambert from the Basketball Hall of Fame, and then we'll turn it over to Brooks Fitch from the Beta Sigma Boulay. Paul?
Thank you very much. And thanks everyone for coming out on this extremely soggy afternoon. I hope that the thunderstorm above our head doesn't drown us out as we're talking here. It's a joy to be here with you all today. On behalf of John DeLeva, our President and CEO, and the entire staff at the Hall of Fame, we're so happy to be with you today to announce this third annual wonderful event as we continue our historic connection to Springfield College from the very birth of basketball through a long series of events and an ongoing relationship through our Hoop Hall Classics, the world's finest high school invitational that we do every year in this very spot, and many events through the years. We're just delighted to be back on campus and to continue the relationship with Springfield College. We're deeply grateful to Dr. Cooper, Dr. Hill, and the entire staff and faculty here at Springfield College for always making us feel welcome at this historic and wonderful, beautiful campus. One of the exciting things about our educational leadership lunch is we get to bring a lot of new folks onto the campus to see really what a spectacular space it's become. And we love to showcase that because we're proud of it as part of our heritage as well. We're here today to also thank our now ongoing partnership with Beta Sigma Boulay, with Brooks Fitch, and our partners. We learned early on in my time at the Hall of Fame that, as Dr. Hill mentioned, basketball is a wonderful vehicle to reach all kinds of people around the world. It's the fastest growing sport in the world. It's the second most popular sport in the world, just behind soccer, but rapidly closing in because, in particular, young people in all polls that are taken love basketball more than any other sport. So we learned early on that basketball was a great vehicle to reach young people in a variety of ways. We can talk about all kinds of things when you use basketball as the hook. You can say basketball and they'll look. And then you can talk about fitness, and you can talk about health, and you can talk about teamwork, and you can talk about history, and you can talk about all kinds of social sciences and math and all kinds of wonderful things using basketball as that vehicle beyond just the sheer beauty of the game. So a few years back, Brooks Fitch, talking with my boss, John DeLeva, we're talking about trying to find ways to partner here in Springfield to use the Hall of Fame to reach out to folks primarily in the African American community here in Springfield, but beyond, to find ways that we could do something meaningful, important, and positive together. An outgrowth of those several years' worth of conversations was the birth of the Educational and Leadership Luncheon. Now in its third year, we've had a variety of wonderful Hall of Famers come in to be our guests. And in particular, what's exciting about the luncheon is it takes place on Friday, this year, Friday, September 7th, which is our enshrinement day, the day when folks are going into the Hall of Fame. It's why we exist. It's our raison d'etre. It's the most exciting day for the Hall of Fame. And we've been blessed to have members of the class each year take time out from that very emotional and very special day to come in to this luncheon to spend time with the young people and the community to talk about their life, to talk about overcoming obstacles, to talk about some of the the emotions that they're feeling that day, and really to share enthusiasm and encouragement to the young people, the students who are here with us. Shaquille O'Neal and Manny Jackson and Rebecca Lobo in the last couple of years, together with a variety of returning Hall of Famers, have been our special guests and have just done a sensational job, beyond teaching us that Dr. Cooper is a gangster, as Shaq taught us. We've come a long way, and it's been a wonderful event. This year, we're extremely excited and honored and really just so pleased that we can announce that Grant Hill, a member of the class of 2018, will be our special guest speaker at the luncheon. Beyond being a two-time NCAA national champion and an outstanding 19-year NBA, arguably for a time the best player in the NBA, a remarkable professional career, Mr. Hill and his whole family represent everything you'd want in a role model and a great athlete, great person. We're so pleased to honor him. He's just and bring him in to this luncheon to talk with the young people about his life, about the many things he's done and still hopes to do. He's just such a very, very positive person, and we look forward to that luncheon more than I can say, and to bringing a variety of other Hall of Famers returning to join us as well. So we're going to have up to 75 young people at the luncheon. I'm going to let Brooks talk a little bit more about the initiative and where we're going as partners. We're so honored and pleased to be here and look forward to coming back many times, but especially on Friday, September 7th, for the 3rd Annual Education and Leadership Luncheon. Brooks.
Thank you very much. I think probably my best opening comment can be simply thank you. First of all, thank you to those of you that are here during this challenging weather. So we thank you for your support this afternoon. And I also want to obviously underscore my thank you to Dr. Calvin Hill and the staff of Springfield College, who have been with us from the very beginning. We're here at Springfield College because of the significance of James Naismith and the birth of basketball. We're also here because of the collaborative spirit of Dr. Hill, Dr. Cooper, Lisa, and the team that represents Springfield College. So it's an honor to be here and be part of this. The Basketball Hall of Fame, Paul Lambert and John DeLeva, once again, I have to say thank you again to them, because this has been a challenging opportunity, like all opportunities really are. But what has happened is we have developed a collaborative strategic partnership. This is not about a singular event. This is about creating an experience. Our tagline is experience and inspire greatness, because we want to acknowledge the greatness of these Hall of Famers. That's the backdrop, that's the hook, that's basketball. But each of them has a story. We also want to acknowledge the greatness in these young people. The key to this luncheon, it is an intimate, engaged experience, not just an event with good lunch. We make sure that everything is done to get student focus to the point that at each table, we usually have at least 1 or 2 students, 1 or 2 community leaders, and hopefully maybe 1 Hall of Famer. But even at that, all the Hall of Famers that are there are very engaged, those that speak from the podium and those do not. So we're in a very, very good place. The community has been extremely supportive. And once again, I must say to Springfield College and the Basketball Hall of Fame, it's just been a real pleasure to work together. We also have some other partners that are not here today, but want to acknowledge them because this is a partnership that we're working through, a collaborative partnership. First, we have to look at Belize Lexus. Belize, from the very, very beginning, shared our vision. They've been with us for the past few years. They have provided levels of support that really go beyond what you might think as the norm. They have been very, very engaged in what we've been trying to accomplish here. Also, I want to acknowledge our National Fraternal Office, Sigma Pi Phi Fraternity. When they saw and realized what our vision was, we as Beta Sigma Boule, we were about 28 individuals. Beta Sigma Boule is made up of graduated African-American males that come together to do social action, scholarships, mentorships, philanthropic works, that sort of a thing. The national office has acknowledged our little boule, if you will, here in terms of the kinds of things we've done, like this education and leadership luncheon, and they've been extremely supportive. And this cannot happen without the outstanding men that are part of Beta Sigma Boule. Dr. Calvin Hill, Fred George, Pastor Calvin, Dr. Calvin McFadden from St. John's Congregational. And let me also mention, when I mentioned St. John's, Calvin McFadden has really been very instrumental in helping to move this forward in terms of his resources and what he can do. And also, they've been able to provide some outstanding students to enjoy the luncheon and some other things that we have associated with this particular weekend. So St. John's has been instrumental in terms of what we're trying to accomplish and also what the community is trying to accomplish. So Dr. McFadden, thank you. Appreciate you. Let me give you a little bit of context from two perspectives. One, several years ago, we talk about scholarship. Several years ago, Beta Sigma Boule was honored to be able to present one $500 scholarship to an individual. Thanks to your support, thanks to the ongoing support of other people that are trying to make this happen, we're now to the point that we're giving out, if you will, two $4,000 scholarships, that's over 4 years, and one $10,000 scholarship. So give yourselves a hand. And by the way, while you're giving a hand, give another hand to the Springfield Public Schools. Azelle Kavan just walked in. Thank you very much for working through the floods. Our relationship with Springfield Public Schools has been outstanding. We've been able to highlight some outstanding students. And invariably, one of the things that happens from this very intimate luncheon is some of the adults and Hall of Famers leave with the impression, oh my goodness, these students are very sharp. And of course, the students leave with a little level of inspiration, a little bit higher. But it's all about relationships, and Azelle and Springfield Public Schools have been outstanding. So thank you. Appreciate you. Another bit of context for you. When I talked about the scholarships, in terms of mentorship and philanthropy, when I first came on board, and it really, these things happen. We were working with about 20 students, which was good. That's a starting point. Now we're able to impact, once again, thanks to you, your support, the community, we're able to impact over 450 students per year, which is very, very good because the impact is really critical when you look at those kinds of things. Another level of context for you. I referenced some documents for you. I have the honor of serving on the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission Plan for Progress. And I want to reference a couple documents to you. One is the Urban Land Institute report that was published in 2006. That report was done by urban planners and architects when they came to Springfield, and they looked around, they said, you've got some outstanding economic development things that can happen, but they can't happen unless we develop a collaborative spirit and try to be as inclusive as we can to make sure we can compete. That was 2006. 2008, the Plan for Progress did a business outreach initiative where we talked to CEOs behind closed doors, very intimate discussions. And what they said when they asked them the question, what do we need to do to move forward economically as a region? Interestingly enough, they came back and said very clearly, the one thing we've got to do, we've got to come together, we've got to learn to collaborate, and we've got to develop the vision and the will to make things happen. That was 2008. If you look at the Plan for Progress 2025 strategic plan, what that talks to is the critical nature of talent, attracting, developing, and retaining talent. So when you look at those three contexts from an economic perspective, they all tie into what we're trying to do with each individual and as a community. So it all ties together for sure. So we're trying to move this forward, and thanks to all of you, we definitely are. This year, of course, Grant Hill, by the way, he's a double major graduate of Duke University, double major. He also is a business owner. He's a part owner, among other things, of the Atlanta Hawks. He has a number of business enterprises. He is a part of a hedge fund, very, very influential. He also is very involved in the arts. His wife is a singer. She's outstanding, but he has one of the largest African-American art collections in the country, highly, highly respected. So what he brings to the table personifies what we are about, the greatness in basketball, but the greatness in life. So we're very pleased and honored to have Grant Hill, and pleased to be honored to have your support. So thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions? Yes, thank you. Well, for example, what we do is we work with an organization called Build, and this is a good example, where we assist them with money, but we also are engaged there. We have usually there are 5 to 10 Beta Sigma Boule members that are there, and we mentor the students. We work with Martin Luther King. These are the philanthropic things now. We work with Martin Luther King Family Services, where we help them with their activities. We get involved with the historically black college tour, if you will, where we invest money, but we also invest our time. Very, very critical. So those are some of the things that we're doing. And then, of course, working with Springfield Public Schools and St. John's, we do as much as we can to interact with the students, because one of the things that many of you are probably aware of was a study that was done through the New York Times about a year ago. What they said was that we have a challenge in getting minority students to graduate from high school. We have a challenge in getting minority students to graduate from college, certainly. We have a challenge in terms of the workforce, and that's also where the Plan for Progress comes in. We look at the workforce. So the pipeline is critical. And if you don't have enough that are in that pipeline, then you're not going to be able to sustain your economy, your business, whatever you might want to do. One of the things they said that kind of helps form a mantra for us as Beta Sigma Boule is that they said that in major cities like Los Angeles, New York, et cetera, and Washington, D.C., minority individuals usually see people that look like them that are very successful. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, whatever it might be. But in communities that are smaller, Memphis, Tennessee, Springfield, Massachusetts, et cetera, they don't see enough of that. So what they said is that it's critical that we look at aspirational and inspirational modeling. So what we do is we try to get engaged with these young people as much as we can so they can see that, hey, he's like me. Matter of fact, he went to the same school, whatever the case might be. But they then see that, okay, look, I can do that. And so that's what this is all about. So through philanthropic works, through the scholarships, by the way, include mentoring. We give money, but we are engaged with these young men throughout the 4 years. So it's one thing to give money, which is critical. You have to do that. But we're working as hard as we can to ensure success, sustained success. So does that answer your question?
I'll just add that the Hall of Fame has also been engaged on a variety of levels, a whole series of educational initiatives. We reach out to young people all the time, have been since we opened the new Hall of Fame in 2002, but really under our new community engagement brand, our Hoop Hall Assists brand. We've had an ongoing relationship with the Springfield Public Schools, doing work with the Holyoke Boys and Girls Club. As Elle knows, I'm particularly hooked on fourth graders, so we've had a variety of fourth graders coming through the Hall of Fame on an ongoing basis, the SciTech Band, all kinds of relationships we're building with the Holyoke Boys and Girls Clubs. We want young people to come to enjoy our museum, but also to be engaged and to be inspired by the great people connected to our game and just the beauty of what the game represents, again, in terms of social values and character education. So a lot of good things to come.
Just let me Paul brings up a very important point. The impact of this is important. And I shared some of the numbers with you, but the optics are extremely important. Optics meaning, in this day and time, it is very critical to see adults that care. In this day and time, it's critical to see an organization like the Basketball Hall of Fame and Beta Sigma Boule working together. The optics of an organization that is primarily white in terms of their organization, an organization that is primarily African American in terms of their structure, working together, collaboratively, doing positive things. That's always been important, but I think now more than ever, that's critical. So we're dealing on several levels here. When you start talking about this education leadership luncheon, it really is about experience, and our tagline, experience and inspire greatness on so many levels. It's visual, it's engaged, so that's why it's important.
So I'm going to respond to a question that was just emailed to me, and that's not only the date, but where. So I'm going to share with you that this event is held here on the Springfield College campus, and it's in the Richard B. Flynn Campus Union in the Phyllis Dodge Room, and it takes place at 11:30. Part of that question was also, how do I get in? We shared with people that we have a 250-person max, so the question was, how do I get into the event? So Brooks, can you take that question?
Yes. And I unfortunately did not bring the rack card as I should have. But tickets are, you go to tickets.betasigmaboule.org, and the layout is there for purchase. The tickets are $75, I'm sorry. Tickets are $75, and that's for the luncheon. And just so you know, we designed that very specifically at that price point, because he wanted to make sure that adults could come, and in a lot of cases, $100 or more. Originally, our discussion with John DeLeva focused on a businessman's luncheon. Oh my goodness, it's really a businessman's luncheon where we can raise a lot of money. Tickets would be $200, which is fine. But we decided, no, we don't want it. What we want to do is set up the pricing points so that people can come. So $75. The $75 plus we have sponsorships. Anyone knows someone that would like to provide a sponsorship can talk to me. Sponsorships help underwrite it. So through the tickets, but primarily the sponsorships, that underwrites the students. So the students are by the way, the students are chosen. This is not a random selection. This is not someone's cousin, so they're going to get, no. The students through St. John's, the students through Springfield Public Schools are based on three things, basically. Most people think of GPA as being critical, and it's good. But you all know, many of you are educated, you know that that's deceptive. GPA can be very misleading, so that's part of it. But the other two things we look at are grit or perseverance and character. In other words, an individual may or may not have a 4.0. They may have a 1.5 or 2, whatever it might be. But there's something that teacher or counselor sees in that individual that says that, yes, when you look at these other areas, this is the kind of person we want to come there. And quite often, that's part of what happens. Students come and they get a sense of inspiration and they go back and they're a little bit more dedicated. It's amazing how it happens. So that's the criteria that we utilize for choosing those students. Excellent question, thank you. The age, these are high school students from 9th grade on, so they're from 14 up to 18. It varies. We also have, what happens after lunch is, directly after the lunch, we have a follow-up mechanism. We're talking about looking at essays and some other things based on the amount of money. We may be able to offer a prize for students that write an essay. We're also, we have an activity that's for our partners only. This is not invitation, but it's based on our partners and people that get involved. They're able to bring some students between 10 to 16 years old to an activity that involves coaching by Hall of Famers and another level of mentorship. And then beyond that, we're discussing a number of things that we hope will be able to come to fruition. This is our third year. First year, you know how those things go, and it went very, very well. Second year, oh, okay, I think we have something here. This looks pretty good. Okay, now we're in the third year, and we're looking to the next level, which is what we're doing here in Springfield, Massachusetts, is going to be translated to a national level with the national fraternity. Also, within this region, we're looking at setting up other mechanisms to honor students, give money for books, a number of things we're discussing. So a lot of those things are being discussed, and Dr. McFadden and Zell, two people sitting right here, that are part of those discussions. What can we do now that we have a template that really provides a foundation for something that can be sustainable? So we're working on that, is another answer. Okay?
Okay, I think we've got time for one or two more questions. Absolutely. I think from the campus perspective, both Paul and Brooks are familiar with my perspective, and that's that our job is to make sure that our students here on the Springfield College campus also have an opportunity to be around this level of greatness. So from the first luncheon, I think for those of you all that were there, we had an opportunity for members of our men's and our women's basketball program to take individual team pictures with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal also walking through our campus and students taking out of time from their class, and you could see we had probably 6 to 8 students deep in our campus union just hoping that he could get an autograph autograph, or they get, from them and so forth. So from that standpoint, I think giving our students an opportunity to be around these Hall of Famers has been special as well. I also want to say that the Hall of Fame has also helped members of our sports journalism program. So for the coat ceremony the day before, Paul and John have been helping me to make sure that anywhere between 10 to 15 of our students have had access to that coat ceremony, and then also to ask questions with ESPN, some of the other magazines that are out there, and it's just been a really phenomenal experience. So in terms of the growth, we provide an opportunity for members of our campus community to be in that luncheon. So if you want to be in that luncheon, you got to come and find me on campus
Before
or
you
find
leave.
Lisa because those tickets go really fast. And this year I have been told that there might be an opportunity for Calvin Hill to hopefully be here. I'm hoping that I'll get a chance to meet Grant's father.
It has nothing to do with how he was chosen.
We thought you were Grant's father. What is this?
The other
I
Calvin
want to
Hill.
get that Calvin Hill squared picture. And then, the opportunity for us just to make sure that we are on the national stage, when it comes to this Education and Leadership Luncheon. We have just been tremendously blessed based on this partnership. I think if you go back and look at the last 2 years, we were highlighted on NBA TV as a college, and based on this partnership, and that's going to continue, to the foreseeable future, I hope.
We rarely look for one-off events. We look for long-term partnerships, really, as an organization. We've had, since day one, literally, with Springfield College, and we bring global media here every January for our Spalding Hoop Hall Classic, and we love bringing people to the campus here to see how the campus is growing. We have an ongoing relationship with St. John's. We've had several St. John's days at the Hall of Fame. We look forward to doing many more good work with Pastor McFadden and the great congregation at St. John's. Ongoing partnership with the Springfield Public Schools. It's what we look for, the Beta Sigma Boule partnership being just one of them that we try to grow and foster. It's really important to us, and we look forward to many years to come of good things in these relationships.
When you look at the different levels, as a participant from Springfield College, obviously, as Calvin said, you are exposed to greatness, if you will. And also, you get a chance to network a little bit with the, leadership in the community. But also, from a Springfield College perspective, what we do is we purposely bring adults and their children to this campus. So you end up with some good marketing positioning, certainly. You end up with individuals that can aspire to attend Springfield College. I grew up here, and I can tell you that this kind of thing, when I was growing up, was certainly not available. The relationship, historic, way back then, wasn't quite that far, was it?
No,
Okay,
no.
good. Thank you. See, he's a good man. It was not what it is today. So what happens is young people come here to this campus. They're very positively welcomed. They can aspire to attend Springfield College. They can aspire to attend college. A lot of little things. Seeing and talking with individuals from Springfield College. Eating the food. This is not what I'm used to when I was in school. It's amazing. All these things are part of the idea of you're going to experience and inspire greatness. It impacts several levels. It'll impact you, it impacts each of us, it impacts the students. So we're very, very honored and pleased with the relationship with Springfield College, Hall of Fame, and certainly all of you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any final thoughts? Paul?
No, just delighted to be here. Thanks so much for coming out. And this, we're building an ark in the back. We'll see how this turns out. But thanks so much for being here today.
Brooks?
Well, once again, I just say thank you for your support coming here today and your ongoing support, and we're going to, as they say, keep pushing forward. So thank you.
Perfect. And thank you all so much for coming out on this rainy day. Good luck getting back to your offices or your places of employment. We look forward to seeing you all on September 7th at the third annual Educational Leadership Luncheon.
Right.
Best to you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Thank you.